Newzroom Afrika's senior politics reporter. Ziyanda Ngcobo will be monitoring those interviews. In fact, she joins us live from Midrand, Ziyanda, before those interviews are set to begin. Is it very interesting indeed that Glen Mashinini is effectively putting his hand up and saying he's available for another term?
Most certainly, Michelle, and I was actually just trying to find out whether or not a previous chairperson, whether you can serve 2 terms as chairperson, seeing that he's already completed his 7 years since 2015, and that's something I think that we'll be able to get clarity on. But I'm sure it is permissible, given the fact that he's, of course, part of the 11 candidates who will be interviewed here this morning. And it's also interesting then, Michelle, that he's putting his hand up again, given just how much controversy surrounded him when he took office in 2015. He had been a special projects advisor in former President Jacob Zuma's office, and he was, of course, appointed by former President Jacob Zuma. And at the time, it seemed as though, it was a placing of somebody who would be a proxy of the former president. And so I guess also his tenure as chairperson is something that's also going to come up in his specific interview, given the fact that, you'll recall that just even in the run-up to the local government elections last year, the IEC faced several challenges and lots of criticism from several political parties across the board, Michelle, when it came to the logistics, of the IEC, the systems, the new voter management device system that they wanted to put in place, but also, just in general about how the IEC, what its role was in terms of encouraging young people to vote in the last local government elections, remembering, of course, that there was even a commission set up that was chaired by former Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke to look into whether or not it would be viable to have the local government elections under the COVID-19 restrictions and the pandemic. So certainly these interviews will be very interesting because of what the IEC's mandate primarily is as well, Michelle, which is, of course, also to be the guardian of that political party funding act as well.
Are there any other candidates for you, Ziyanda, that stand out on that list of 11, aside from Glen Mashinini?
There are several interesting candidates, Michelle, and there's a mixed bag in terms of the kinds of qualifications that each of these candidates hold. Most of them have a legal background or have a legal, degree. You have Mr. Justice Bege. He's the Northern Cape's Provincial Government Director General, so that's someone coming in then from the public sector. You also have someone like Dr. Stembi Lembete, who's a senior lecturer at the University of Pretoria, and she lectures in international relations. And so then you also have, Advocate Geraldine Chaplog-Low, who is the budget manager at the IEC. So it's a mixed bag, really. And then you also have, for instance, Michelle, Advocate Edward Lambani. He is the registrar at the University of Venda currently. So all of them come with their own unique set of skills, Michelle, and it will be very interesting then the line of questioning in terms of what the criteria is primarily that this particular panel will be applying to each and one of these candidates, especially given the fact that this particular organization is very important then that it remains shielded from any kind of negative political connotations or any blemishes, as you would have seen late last year, that some political leaders were trying to place at the feet of the IEC.